So today I got something special for you guys. We are at You Pull and Pay in Colorado Springs. It's actually owned now by Pull Apart, the Pull Apart company. They bought all 11 stores in this area. They're a nationwide salvage yard company. This one in particular is actually where Shannon and I used to go on our dates.
Yep.
See, when I was young, we were always building cars. We didn't have a lot of money, so we always had to find parts to fix parts. And no better way to do that than go to the salvage yard. The reason we're all the way over here in Colorado Springs today, though, is because my friend Jenna has been looking out for a vehicle for the Matt's Offroad Recovery games. If you guys are familiar with what's going to happen in 2025, we have to build a vehicle that has coil suspension front and back, and we're not allowed to run shocks. And we're gonna go run a pretty gnarly trail out there in Sand Hollow called Nasty Half. Before I go and show you what car I think we're gonna try to get, we got to come around here and look around because this is big time salvage fun. Shannon and I love walking around and looking at things anyway, coming up with ideas, brainstorming. And I absolutely love that Pull Apart still allows you to go into their salvage yards. A lot of them anymore, you can only just buy the part that they pull, and that really takes all the fun away from walking around and checking out all this little metal gold that's everywhere. Like this short bed standard cab Dodge pickup. Got coil suspension in the front, leaf springs in the back. If I wanted to use it for the competition, I could put coil springs in the back and put 1 tons that would literally bolt in. Like you find a 3/4 ton Dodge, throw it in there, bolt it up, and now we got a 1 ton with 1/2 ton suspension. I think that'd be pretty rad.
Grand Cherokees. Cherokees.
Yeah. Now here's what I'm expecting most people to show up with is a Grand Cherokee. They come factory with a decent drivetrain and they already have coils all the way around. Boing.
It's just gonna be a big slinky show.
This particular yard is actually the yard that I used to get a lot of Ford Explorer 8.8s. I did a lot of 8.8 swaps in people's cars. I got a lot of Ford 9 inches, Dana 44s that I would do a 9 inch and a 44 under my Cherokees and Comanches. This is the yard where I figured out that van axles are wider than pickup axles, was right here, using my tape measure.
I remember coming and having to pull even the smallest things like just door pieces or handles and stuff for all the Cherokees because it was just a few bucks and that's all we could do at the time.
She says Cherokee door handles. It was really Suzuki door handles because those are the ones that broke all the time.
Oh yeah.
Got some pick 'em up trucks. If you're familiar with one of America's gnarliest bases, then you'll recognize that mountain right there with all those antennas on it. Suzuki.
Oh.
Not a Sidekick because it's too new, it's a Grand Vitara. Oh yeah. I need that motor in my Samurai. If you guys are axle junkies like myself and you find a 99 to 04 Ford Super Duty and you want to know if this is a Dana 50 or a Dana 60, on the axle housing it's cast 229 or 248. If it's 229, it's a Dana 50. If it's 248, it's a Dana 60. Front axles here are ridiculously affordable. This one is a Dana 60. I looked underneath it, it says 248. We could pull this out, have an extremely affordable Dana 60 without having to pull the diff cover or look anything else, and pull it out, have 99 to 0460, do some 1 ton swappage, and be solid. Real cheap. Now you know when you're rock crawling, taillights like to disappear. I can't pass up a set of S10 taillights, that's for sure. Let's see if this one's got the auto in it. Oh yeah. All the rock crawler guys that are running those 3.8s and 3.9s, you know, the Buick ones that seem to run for forever, this is the transmission they're using behind it. This is a 2.8 V6 S10. The 700R4 automatic that's behind it is actually 60 degrees, just like this engine. So you have a much better line of sight and it'll bolt right up to those 3.8s and 3.9s. Thus, why the rock buggy guys hunt those transmissions down. Purple. Purple chair car. That's purple.
It's blue.
That's purple.
It's blue. It's totally blue.
This is blue.
Yeah.
That's purple.
You know, there's multiple shades of blue.
That's purple.
It's blue.
This right here.
Another shade.
This is blue. That's purple.
Blue.
What do you guys think? Is that blue or purple?
It's blue.
It's purple. And look at that. Bam. Take that motor, take transmission out of the S10, put a Dana 300 behind it. You got a rock buggy setup. Oh snap. Darn it. These Pontiac Fieros had some of the best budget bucket seats you could find. Fortunately, somebody else knew that before me and took them. I think I'll leave that van alone. Oh yeah. So I walked over here because I saw this 300ZX. Of course, all the good stuff's been pulled out. But then here's this Mitsubishi. Check it out. Bam. Those are some rad buckets. Might be good for a budget build. Got all the extra doohickeys in here. Need yourself some rad buckets? Come get this one.
It's really funny watching Colt walk around the salvage yards. He's like a little kid with wide eyes looking around at everything, wanting it all. And he does need some things. Just looks around. And he found something. He found a tracker. Trackers are like, I guess you could say, kind of like a cousin to a Suzuki. They're pretty much the same thing.
I need this motor in my Samurai too.
So our very first Suzuki/tracker was when Kayla, our daughter, was a baby. It was a 2-door, the roof folded back. It was so much fun to drive. It was like a go-kart. It was a standard. That was so much fun. We used to take her to the drag strips whenever she was a baby in it. It was a blast. And then it just kept going.
The great thing about Pull Apart and all their affiliate companies is that they have a log on their website. So they can tell you all the vehicles they have on their lot, what parts are still on the vehicle on the lot, and they even show you vehicles that they have for sale, and you can pick around to the cities that are closest to you.
I found something.
What'd you find?
Come here. An S10 grill.
That is a GMC Jimmy grill.
GMC Jimmy grill. It doesn't have any back parts on it.
No, it doesn't. Probably because I had this bull bar thing to protect it a little bit. Yeah, that's nice.
I think you need it for your wall.
For my wall. Yeah, it's in good shape. Might have to pull that.
Yay, I'm so excited. It's like a perfect condition.
You got it.
Yay!
Jimsy.
That's gonna look good on the wall. Yay!
If you guys remember when I built the S10, I actually had to pull the oil filter screw out of one of these Astrovans. Reason being is the S10's oil filter is remote. It comes up behind the headlight and it leaks all the time and it gets in the way when you're trying to cut your fenders out. So I took it out, put the regular oil filter back in, but it won't thread in unless you got the adapter with that. So you have to pull that one out, then you can put it in your 4.3. Don't know why it didn't come with it, but that was the trick. They got a few of them here. So here's a 3/4 ton Dodge. It has, I believe these are 32 spline outputs on these axles. They're not very highly desired because they're driver drop low pinion, but if that's all you can afford, there's still another option. I mean, that's not a bad option. And here's your Dana 70. Actually, that's a Dana 80. Yeah, that's even better. That's a Dana 80. Yeah, you're not gonna break that. Dana 80 is what Roy runs in the back, a Trailmater. I actually kind of want that axle, but I didn't come down here to get parts. I came down here to get a vehicle. Take that Dana 80 and then grab that 99 to 04 Super Duty 60 front, drill it out to 8 on 6.5, and we're good. I found a really nice wheelbarrow before we started today. So this thing's all primo. Shanna even enjoys driving it around.
It's nice and lightweight. I'm carrying my treasures. This is my treasure.
Crushed metal snowman. Got any 10 millimeters? 10 millimeter socket. So remember I said you can go online and you can look through every store they have and see what vehicles they have. And Jenna helped me find this. If you guys remember Jenna, we have done some cool pull apart challenges together, built some rad stuff, gave away a Jeep all the way in Oregon even one time, and
Don't forget when you tried to kill me in Moab.
And she says I tried to kill her in Moab, but I don't think we did. I think we just went four-wheeling in Moab, and it was a good time. This is gonna be our vehicle for the Matt's Off-Road games, for Matt's Off-Road Discovery, coiled front and back. What do you think? So John is a store manager. He also sells all the cars they have out front here. Tell us a little about this one.
So this particular vehicle here is a 96 Land Rover. If you're a fan of British ingenuity, this is the vehicle for you. It has itself not one but two different sunroofs, full clean leather interior, 143,000 miles on it. It does have some oil leaks that you need to use some tender loving care for, but if you take care of the vehicle, they take care of you.
I think I know where I can get parts when it breaks down too, because you know, this is the most unreliable, reliable car there is right here. Look at that. Do I get to keep this?
If you want to buy it, you can keep it. The keychain spring.
Well, I think we have to take it for a test drive, but they said it runs and drives. That's really all I need. I just need something that runs and drives. It leaks oil, but if it wasn't leaking oil, I'd be afraid it was out, especially on a Land Rover. Let's see if it starts here. All right. Oh man. It runs. Could use a little cleanup. Looks like whoever had this liked sugar packets and change.
Can I see?
Yeah.
Looks like a Land Rover.
Looks like a Land Rover.
This looks like so much fun. I wanted to jump in.
Yes.
You gotta get in here.
Hi.
Everybody in, pilot.
Do both sunroofs work?
This one is not working. You should try that one.
Nope.
British engineering at its finest.
Air conditioning works.
Till it overheats. This car is rad. I'm actually stoked. To have a vehicle that runs at this price in this day and age, it's hard to find one. And then to know that I can go into a place and get parts and get them myself makes a big difference to me as well.
I think You Pull and Pay is one of the last old school salvage yards where you can go in and actually pull it yourself.
Didn't you guys used to have dates here?
Yes.
We did.
You missed that.
Yes.
We did. I was 16, 17 coming down here.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling stuff out of here.
Yep.
Most of
Make it
our
out.
vehicles here are priced between 17 up to about 36, depending on year, make, and model. So that if you're looking for something to get you from point A to point B, we should be your first stop looking, unless you want to spend a lot more.
And then you don't have to deal with people on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh my gosh.
So true.
Uh-huh.
Look at this thing. It's got tow hooks front and back on both sides, like it's meant to be towed out of here. All right, we made it back to the house, but I do need to check the thermostat, I believe. When we drove it around in Colorado Springs, the engine got a little warm. It looks like the water pump's new. I hope that we don't have a head gasket issue. The oil looks good. The antifreeze looks good. So I hope that it's just a stuck thermostat. I know these things are prone for having bad head gaskets too, so let's hope that's not the case. But we're going on a budget because these are supposed to be jalopies, and I need that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and punch some holes in this, because in case this thing gets stuck, I want it to still be able to breathe a little bit by. Now I know a lot of people say, well, why don't you just pull your thermostat out? And here's why I don't want to do that. If you pull your thermostat out completely, now you have full circulation running all the time. The problem with that, I've actually seen vehicles get hotter because it's running through the radiator. It doesn't have time to stall out. The whole point of the thermostat is it stops, lets the radiator cool the fluid off, and then it opens up when the motor gets warm, and then it flushes that fluid that's cooler from the fan and the radiator and everything into the engine. So if you don't let it stop, then it doesn't have a chance to cool off in the radiator. It's just running full time. So this is a 190 thermostat, but I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, I'm just gonna punch a couple little holes in here with the drill bit, and all that's gonna do is, if for some reason this thing is locked up, it does still allow a little bit of fluid through it so it won't blow the head gasket. All right, so I got one kind of bigger hole and one little small one. That creates a little bit of circulation, but the major flow is still gonna come from that. There we go. Now I capped off the radiator hoses top and bottom. That way when I pull this out, I'm gonna get the least amount of antifreeze coming out right here, because now it can't, if you don't have the bottom capped off, then it can suction back through the radiator and come out the top, and vice versa. So if we have them both capped, then all I'm gonna get is the stagnant amount that's sitting in the left of this hose, and then the engine block itself. I'll tell you what, with this block being all aluminum, these bolts do not want to come out. There's my mess. So fresh antifreeze. 180 degree thermostat. That's kind of a bummer. This is a 190, but see if I got a gasket that I can put in here since they didn't give me one. AutoZone. Fortunately, I had one that's close enough. Lube it down though. Make sure that it works. All right. Get a rag. Cool. Easy enough. I hope that does the trick. Now I want to do what we've needed to do and go see what this thing's capable of and talk about why I chose a Land Rover. All right, now it's time to test this thing out. I got Shanna with me here because she's going to follow me in the Jeep just in case this thing does the unreliable reliability of unreliableness. I don't know. British things. Buzzers. Now you're probably wondering why I chose this car. Let's go over that. So there's only a few rules that Matt set for the Matt's Off-Road games for these vehicles. Number one, it can only be on a 33-inch tall tire. Two, you have to be willing to cut the roof off and put a cage on it. And number three, it has to be a coil suspension front and rear. And number four, you're not allowed to spend over 5,000 bucks. Now I figured everybody was probably gonna show up with a Jeep Grand Cherokee because that's really the simplest vehicle to get. You can find one running pretty easily and they got coil suspension all the way around. There are a couple other options. You can always do like a full-size Dodge pickup, throw coils in the back. You can also find a Toyota Land Cruiser that are coiled front and back, but I don't think you're gonna find one in that price range. These, on the other hand, are kind of a crapshoot. They're either really affordable or really expensive. I don't know why. Usually the really affordable ones have a blown head gasket, either a motor or a transmission issue of some kind. And the fact that this one runs is pretty impressive to me. This has got the 4-liter V8. There we go. British engineering at its finest. Now, what do I know about a 4-liter V8? Only a few things. Number one, it gets horrible fuel economy. Number two, it has the power of a good 4-cylinder. And number three, if it's not leaking oil, it's out of oil. This thing has a wicked power steering leak. And honestly, most of the drivetrain in here, I kind of despise. I think that it's weak, not strong. Obviously, you know my opinions on the motor. I've owned a few of these. The seat comfort is very mediocre. So why on earth would I choose this car? The real reason is because they look freaking cool, man, don't they? I think they look amazing. They are a cool looking ride. Like, I even love the styling of the hood. You gotta jiggle it just right to get that thing to start. Now, my personal opinion on these vehicles is these are the British version of the Mopar. And if you guys have driven a Jeep or a Dodge, you understand that it keeps on driving, but you have issues, electrical issues, mechanical issues, but it'll keep driving. And that's kind of what my opinion is on these Rovers. I don't think there's a better quote than what Jeremy Clarkson said about these things. The world's most unreliable vehicle seems to be the most reliable. This has got all the standard quirks that you could expect from a Land Rover. Half these switches don't work. Both of these are broke, so they just kind of flop around wherever they want. I have this really cool sunroof that doesn't work. It's actually duct taped up. And this shade works. This shade obviously does not. The seats, while they are nice and luxurious leather, are made for about one of my butt cheeks. They are definitely not made for a large American. The headliner's falling apart. And like I said, I've owned a few of these before. I'm pretty sure the check engine light has to be burned out because all I have is an anti-lock light. These also are full-time all-wheel drive, meaning I have high range and low range in all-wheel drive, where it has a differential in the transfer case that goes between the axles. This does have what they call a center diff lock or a transfer case diff lock, where I pull it over and then it puts full-time four-wheel drive to both front and rear drive shafts, so then I'm back to like a normal four-wheel drive that we would have in a regular Jeep. And it works like this. So here's your high range, here's your neutral, there's your low range, and then when I push it over like that, that is supposed to lock the transfer case differential so that I have an actual four-wheel drive going front and rear. Let's try it out. This is really bad. This should walk up this. That's a big difference between those two vehicles. That thing walked right up like it wasn't even there. I was expecting the Rover to do that, so that scares me a little bit. Plus side is that new thermostat's keeping this thing nice and cool, which is good. That means that it's probably working. You guys may know this, but we're going to be wheeling nasty half without shocks, which is going to be kind of crazy, but it's also a good thing that it's not going to have shocks, because these shocks are horrible. It's hard to tell, but that clunking noise is actually my shocks going in and out of the sleeves and the bushings, like they're totally shot.
I think the front passenger tire is the only one spinning.
Just gonna have to give it the old full throttle assault.
Woohoo!
I smell rubber. Say there's plenty of rubber coming up this. In stock form, this thing is not giving me a whole lot of hope. That's extremely scary. Those are stock Jeep axles. I have not aired down those tires. They have the same air pressure as those. They're both sitting at like 25, and that thing just walked right up. So we're gonna have to do some fixer-uppering. I know these things have to be more capable than this, because I mean they've won the Dakar rallies, so I mean that's a legit race. I don't see how you could win that when that Jeep Wrangler is destroying this thing on the trail so far. That hurt. Ow. So one of the things that scared me just now is I had my foot completely shoved on the brake and I just kept rolling forward. I even put it in neutral and it still was rolling forward, which means I have no stopping power on this thing at all. Which those calipers look pretty new. It did come with new rotors. Maybe I need to put rotors in it as well, but I've been putting my foot on the brake every time I'm rolling back. Like, I got my foot fully locked and it just keeps rolling back. So I have no brakes in this thing. I got a little bit of brakes, but not a lot. First bit of damage. I have a feeling that's not super strong. Found another arrow artifact out here. That's a carbon fiber. That's moon rock. That's deer antler. That's rusty deer antler.
Is that pigeon feathers?
Yep. It's time to see what this thing's really made of. Can we make this or will we get denied? We're gonna find out right now. Now the Rockster made it, but it took a little body damage.
I'm not sure if I have much faith in this one. Sorry, baby.
Barely make it into the option.
Uh-oh. Okay. On the first rock, here you go. Rear passenger's the only one spinning.
Oh. I made it. This thing's gonna be a workout.
Has a mind of its own when it decides to work and when it doesn't. We could say it can do burnouts though. So that's cool. Burnouts are cool, especially when you're in high school.
Yeah, that's sticky. Ooh, warm.
Colt created his own sticky tire. And that got kind of messed up, but I don't think he's supposed to be towing anything, so I don't think we need the tow package. So I think we're good.
I'm gonna be honest, this is a little sketchy when your brakes don't work real good. Like, I put it to the floor and I'm still rolling forward. Like right now, my foot is shoved down. You can see I'm still moving. There, it stopped. That is sketchy. We'll have to fix that. Gonna need brakes, I think. Okay, going down. Foot's completely stomped on the brakes. Like everything I got. Ugh. And I'm still moving. I even had it in neutral so it wouldn't push me forward with the engine, or with the transmission. Well, I think my shock has gotten worse. Hopefully that's just the shock. All right, I think we have our work cut out for us, but I think this is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great for the Matt's Off-Road games. If you guys want to see us build it, you're going to have to wait till the next time we have this thing in the garage. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Bye. I think we're going to have to name this thing Tea Party. Because, you know, British. 1776. Caw-caw!